Graph the system of inequalities. Y is greater than 1/4 x minus 1, and y is less than negative 4x plus 2. So we'll start with each inequality separately, and then combine the results together in the end. So I'll start here with y is greater than 1/4 x minus 1. So to begin, well, you just graph it as a line. And so it has a y-intercept of -1, a slope of 1/4. So if you go up 1 over 4, that gets you the next point on the line. Up 1 over 4, it would be about right there. Or down 1, back 4, down 1, back 4. All right, now the line itself is going to be dashed. And the reason it's going to be dashed is anytime you have greater than or less than, that represents exclusion of the boundary. So you want to graph that with a dashed line. If it were greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, you would use a solid line. So I'm just going to make sure as I graph this to use a dashed line through these points as best I can. Okay, now I need to know which side of the line to graph. So I'm going to pick a test point, and the origin is easiest if it's available. And all you have to do is just plug the origin into your inequality. So that would be 0 greater than -1. 0 is greater than -1, so that's a true statement. So what you do then is you shade the side of the line that contains the origin. So I'll shade that side of the line. All right, now the other inequality is y is less than -4x plus 2. That has a y-intercept of +2 and a slope of -4. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4 down and over 1, down 4, over 1, or up 4 and back 1. And this is a less than, so it's also a dashed line. So I'll do my best to draw a nice dashed line through these. Okay. And then which way do we shade? Well, again, pick the origin as a test point and plug it in. So that would give me 0 is less than 2, and that is true. So that means I would shade this side of the line over here. And the solution region is the region where all of these shaded regions overlap one another. So that would be this region here that I'm now shading in green. And if I erase these others, that'll make a little bit more sense. So that's the solution to the system. Now, sometimes questions will ask you, like, name a few points that exist in the solution region, just so you know specifically which region it is. And you can pick any points if that's asking you that. So just pick a couple of points that are easily verifiably on one side of the line or the other. So like 0, 0 is clearly on that solution region. What did I pick here? -3, +2, and -5, 0. Just be careful not to put 0, -5, because then even though you've identified this is the point you want, you've given the wrong coordinates. So just be careful as you give the coordinates, and that's what you would do. Okay, so this is certainly a different set of line equations, but the way we do them is the same. So the first line equation is y is greater than x minus 2. So you want to choose a dashed line or a solid line based off of the inequality. So you want a dashed line. Then what I would recommend is pick the point that is your y-intercept, so -2. And then we have a slope of +1. So then up 1 over 1, that gives me another point on the line. I'm done graphing the line. Now I just move my pencil here that's on screen, into one side of or the other. And that's where you just have to do the same sort of test to decide which way it's going to go. So if you choose the origin and plug it into this equation, you would get 0 is greater than -2. Since that's a true statement, just click there, and now that will stay shaded, and you finished graphing that line. So then the other line, y is less than -1/2 plus 1, it's also a dashed line, has a y-intercept of +1, and a slope of -1/2, so go down 1 and over 2. And then you have to decide which side of the line you want to graph or shade. So we'll try the origin again. So that would say, if you plugged in the origin here, that would be 0 is less than 1, which would be a true statement. So there you go. Now when you click, it will stay and you've graphed it. So at this point, the overlapping regions, which are in purplish here, that's the solution region for the system. So if I submit this now, there we go.